Hi, my name is Bezalel Hephaestus. As you saw in that little intro video, I used to be a very small spider a long time ago until I met my human partner, Kay. Eventually, I evolved and now I turned out like this. So, to give information about me, I wanted to talk about more about my name. So, let me just scooch a little bit on the corner here. Let's see. There we go. So, Bezalel Hephaestus. Hephaestus is probably a little bit more well known, I think. So, we'll talk a little bit about it. So essentially, for those who don't know, Hephaestus is the Greek god of blacksmithing, artisan, craftsman, pretty much anything that has to do with like creating. He is revered as the god of those things. He's well known for pretty much equipping all the people from Mount Olympus every time they needed something, armor, weapon wise. For example, like Artemis, bows and arrows, Achilles' shield, Athena's spear, Apollo's golden chariot. Basically, if you needed something, Hephaestus would hook you up. So, even though I'm a small crafter myself, I would love for in the foreseeable future, like smelt and forge something, but that would be a project for the long path ahead. But for now, I would start with like smaller, like sewing kind of crafting projects. But yes, I think he's really cool. And then we have Bezalel. I'm not sure if he's as well known. Essentially, he was the chief artisan for the tabernacle. To give a little short story, back in the Old Testament times, when Moses got the people of Israel out of Egypt, they wandered the desert for about 40 years or so, I believe. A long time. But during that journey, they needed a place to worship. So essentially, God appointed Bezalel, and he also had like a second in command, Oholiab, and some other people, some of his crew. But Bezalel was the main guy. He pretty much did anything and everything, like the tent of worship, the utensils and tools that were needed for the ceremony. Pretty much did like the uniforms, like pretty much like everything that was needed. So he was definitely a man of a lot of talents, a lot of skills. There's a little excerpt, I believe, where all these orders would come. God will tell it to Moses, and then Moses will relay that info back to Bezalel and his crew. And there was this one piece, I believe, where they had to do like this candlestick, and Moses was just having a hard time describing this thing, and like even though like he had been shown like a heavenly model, he was just having a hard time talking about this. But in his vague description of things, Bezalel was like, "Oh, got it," and then he just walked away and like did the thing. So it was just a funny interaction. It's kind of like when like a non-artsy person is talking to an art person about something, and it's just like the most vague, broad description, but the art guy like just knows right away. So anyway, that always makes me laugh, and I just thought it was really cool. So yes, Bezalel and Hephaestus are two of the creators that I respect the most, and For a long time, I didn't have a name. You know, when I was a little spider, I had other priorities like surviving, making sure I had enough to eat, making sure I had shelter. But once I evolved into this form, became a little bit more self-aware. You know, I decided to choose these names for myself. Hopefully, that I'm able to channel that same creative skill and energy and passion towards my own work. So, once again, I am Bezalel Hephaestus. Alrighty. So the next one, oh, you'll have to forgive me. It's a little noisy over here. I think they're doing some construction or something nearby. I don't know. It's a lot of loud trucks going on in the background. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Oh, so for a little biography, because my fancy name is Gaster Acantha cancriformis. Gaster means belly, Acantha means thorn, cancri from the Latin cancer, just meaning crab, and forma meaning appearance. So essentially, little thorn, belly, crab-like person, monster. But more commonly known as the spiny or weaver spider. So, some of you who are more spider savvy probably notice, like, wait a minute, Bezalel, aren't the females the more ornate, more decorative than the males? Then yes, that's true. Normally the male spiny or weavers are a lot smaller and probably not as, you know, colorful. It's usually like the female spiny or weavers that are, you know, more colorful and definitely like quite bigger. So there's actually an explanation for that. You see, back in but essentially, that's kind of like the gist of it. So yeah, you can just refer to me as like he, him, it. I guess. I don't know. I don't particularly care, but just whatever's easier for you. So yeah, that explains that. As far as my size, I'm definitely a little bigger than your average spider. I wasn't sure how to measure myself. You know, thinking about the tip of my horns to my spinneret, or talking about like from where my legs are, you know, all the way to like the top, or you know. So essentially, the best way to give a size comparison is I'm about the size of an average game controller. Um, I can reach just enough buttons and you know to like play on consoles. Thankfully, of course, my partner Kay will like you know help out sometimes. We'll take turns but thankfully I can at least play games by myself if needed. So another thing, Kay and I actually met in Central America, and then we traveled together to the U.S. So yeah, we're pretty fluent in Spanish and English. Spanish was our first language, English the second. Every once in a while, I'll have a little goof, or like I'll forget certain words, and you know, it's like I'll just, you know, I don't know, I'll just blank out. But for the most part, I want to say I'm at least good, 90% proficient in English, just about, hopefully. I guess you guys would know in the end. So, yep. Alrighty. Next up is some of my spidery powers. So, of course, I can do wall crawling, what they call web swinging, web slinging. I I can do pretty much whatever a spider can. Nothing different about that. I also have super awesome intelligence relative to normal spiders. I mean, of course, as you can see, I can talk, have some self-awareness, so I can at least do a little bit more than some of my spidery brethren here. And then lastly, I have a psychic connection with Kay here, my human partner. Whenever we first met and we bonded together, I evolved, of course, and we both got this mark on us, as you can see on my back. There's a little skull insignia here. Kay has a similar one that appears on his wrist every once in a while. So essentially, I mean, it's not mind controlled. Essentially, whenever Kay allows it, we essentially we'll have like, I don't know, we'll almost move as, even though we're two separate beings. Whenever we establish that psychic connection, we're able to do a lot of things together, almost in like unison. Very much like when, even though like I have a spider body, I can like move his hands to do, you know, certain things when we're like crafting or sewing together, or like, you know, if we need to reach for like an extra, need to reach more sewing thread, or need to take out like a pin, I can automatically like reach it without him like talking or asking about it. So it's pretty cool, and it's definitely very useful when we're either playing video games or when we're crafting. It's like we're in this total synchronization, and this is something unique that him and I share. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Speaking of which, he's my human partner. He's a little shy. For right now, he just wanted to be referred to as K, like the letter K. We might have to come up with a nickname later down the line, but for now, when I talk about K, I'm talking about like the letter K, talking about him. Yeah, he's a bit of a quiet guy, which is cool. I mean, it's ever since we met, once again, because of that psychic link that we have, there's usually not a lot of words that need to be exchanged. He kind of knows what I'm thinking. I kind of know what he's thinking. So we get along pretty good. Really nice dude. It's pretty chill. I love him. I don't know what I would do without him. He's super nerdy, of course. He's a good listener when he's paying attention. Even with our psychic link, there are certain times where like our individual attention just kind of like splits. Like I'll be looking at some things, and then he'll be like on the opposite, corner, like looking at something totally different. But that's still cool in itself. Like I said, we are two separate beings, but yeah, that's what makes us great, I think. And of course, he's also Spanish and English fluent. So we definitely have to come up with a name. I'm not sure. Calling him K all the time seems kind of weird. So we'll see. We'll come up with something later. Alrighty. Next up is my personal likes. Of course, I'm super big into video games. I've been playing them for a long time, and I just love it. Specifically the genre, I love anything to do with survival, like crafting, like anything to do with like, gathering supplies, crafting things, weapons, like survival stuff, and especially with zombies. I was super huge into that. Role-playing games, anything to do with like space travel, space fight, spacey space. I'm all about it. Of course, I play a variety of things, but these would definitely be like my kind of like top like genres kind of stuff. So Of course, I'm a bit of a weeb. So yeah, anything to do with anime, manga, it's my jam. I also read like American comics as well, or even manga sometimes. Just anything to do with pictures, really. You got me there. Of course, also pretty big into movies. Anything that's like action, I'm all about that. Sewing is my favorite craft. I definitely want to get into more other areas, but oh, there's a little thing there. Rewind, get this out, blah blah blah. Blah, 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 blah. Should probably turn that down. Okay, turn it down. Yep, movies. I'm all about that. And then we got sewing. You know, it's I mean, of course, it's somewhat similar to when I was spinning web back in the wild. I know there was some other animals that also did stuff with silk. But yeah, when I saw humans do sewing, I was like, oh man, I gotta check that out. So I'm still not the best at it, but I would like to improve. Alrighty. In that same line of thinking for the likes, yeah, as far as like genres or themes or like aesthetics, would that be the right word? Basically, my top favorite things are like zombies, aliens, and ghosts, specifically in that order. I love all three of them, but yeah, if you talk to me about like zombie games or zombie movies, like you like instantly have my attention. Even though like a lot of people would say that it's oversaturated like genre at this point, like I just cannot have enough zombies in my life. Aliens, of course. There's definitely a level of mystery. Of course, I like them in like like in like a sci-fi setting, and like video games and stuff like that. But I would like to explore more about real life aliens. Thing to do with like documentaries and sightings. I'm definitely all about the outer space mysteries. And finally, ghosts, which I think are also pretty cool, pretty spooky. Of course, like big bad monsters always gonna be like cool, but when I think of like ghosts, I think like, man, like I feel like I'm more likely to be haunted by a ghost than to be attacked by like a crazy monster thing. Like, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just the I have this fascination for the unknown and the paranormal and just things that are not so easily explained at first glance. So yeah, definitely. And of course, like ghost movies and things like that, like haunting and I'm all about those things. So, yep. Now for my dislikes, I don't like math very much. I am aware that it is very important in life. Sewing, unfortunately, requires a lot of math. You gotta, measure and make sure you got seam allowances, and there's an unfortunate amount of math involved in sewing and crafting in general. Gotta measure twice, gotta add it up, and it's and I understand it's necessary, but if I can forego, if someone else could do the math for me, I would love that. But I can't do math. It's just I'm a little slow at it. But yeah, it's not my forte, so to speak. I usually eyeball things, but there are certain projects where like I need to be exact or I'm going to die. So very important, but yeah. I don't like open water. Now, of course, I'm okay with like a swimming pool and stuff like that. As long as it's an enclosed space and I can see the bottom. But man, like if it's like on a lake, or like some sort of like open ocean, like it just terrifies me. I'm also not the best swimmer. I can float a little bit, but like at least in a swimming pool, it's like okay, if I somehow sink to the bottom, I can at least like slowly like crawl, towards the wall and get myself out. But man, like open ocean, that's scary, yo. Uh, Not getting enough sleep. That is unfortunately something that I battle with constantly. I would love to just go to bed when I'm tired and wake up when I'm feeling refreshed. But, there are certain responsibilities that I need to take care of. Even as a spider, I have to help Kay with some certain things, and he has to help me with some of my things. So the world functions during the day and kind of has to chill during the night. And sometimes I feel my our schedule is like kind of opposite. So having to juggle, like going to bed at a decent time, but man, when I wake up and I don't get my beauty rest, I get a little cranky. So yeah, and then lastly, books that are kind of heavy on the text. I don't know, maybe I just have a short attention span, or I can't focus. But whenever I see like a huge page of just text, like it's kind of intimidating. Like it's weird. Like when I'm like playing a video game and I'm like following up on the lore, like I'm all about it. But if it's like like a Shakespeare like text, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of cool books, that are like interesting, and I don't know, maybe I have to find a zombie slash ghost alien book to grab my attention. But yeah, when I see a big pile of text, I'm like, whoa. But so yeah, like I had to force myself through sometimes. But yep. Now, as far as goals, I would love to, once I get a little better at sewing, I would love to make cosplay outfits. I mean, not so much for me, for like spider cosplay, but more for like Kay. I think he could pull off some really cool outfits. So yeah, making something from scratch, or just looking at a video game or manga character. They sometimes have cool outfits, and I'd be like, man, that would be really cool if I could make that. So it's definitely on my list. Going to a convention too and showing off the cosplay, that would be pretty cool. Also, I've been interested in Blender for a while. It just seems like a really cool program. Not the best at like 2D art, but I don't know. I feel like maybe looking at things from like a 3D perspective might be pretty interesting. So it's definitely one of my list of things to learn and master. Learning a third language. They say that once you learn a second language, it's a little easier to learn a third. Of course, as with any skill, like you have to put a lot of time and practice. But just from learning a second language, your brain kind of gets accustomed about the breakdown of words and sentences. You're on your first language, you're so used to like a certain linear path, but not all languages are straightforward. Kind of like between Spanish and English. You can say the red house, but in Spanish it would be la casa roja. So you know, in Spanish, you introduce the subject first, and then you do the adjective second. So you're thinking like, whoa, isn't that backwards? That's so weird. But you know, because you know you're familiar with that, you can at least know like, okay, some languages are kind of like switched around on the order of words, and so. But like I said, you know, still has to takes time and effort. But at least your brain is somewhat wired to at least introduce another language. But yeah, not sure what that language would be, but it would be cool just to add another one. So, of course, just learning more crafts. I would love to get into like knitting, crocheting, stuff to do with yarn. You know, paper crafting. I dabble a little bit. You know, just do more things. You know, there's lots of human crafts out there, and you know, this just looks so cool. I would love to be a, you know, almost like a jack of all trades, but hopefully, yeah, it's on my to-do list. And then, whoa, oh, hold on a second. Hold on, I think that's there's a typo here. Okay, there we go. Wait, is that a trillion? What is that? Anyway, I think Kay got a little got a little overexcited during the slide presentation here. Kay. Okay. I would love to reach at least 1,000 subscribers. It's kind of like my. Is that a trillion? What the heck? So yeah, start off small. Of course, is there even a trillion users in this platform? I don't think they are. That's like, even if like every human on the planet was a subscriber, like I don't think, is that enough? Anyway, so first benchmark, reach 1,000 subscribers for the time being. But yeah, it's we'll start small and then we'll go further from there. Okay. And then yeah, just just improving my general skills. Definitely get better at sewing. I'm sorry if I mentioned the intro pixel work that you saw in the beginning was made between Kay and I. It's not the best, for sure. I should add it to my list of likes too. I definitely love all that retro aesthetic, you know, like Super Nintendo, like little pixel animation work. A lot of my favorite games that I played have been like in that pixel style. So it's just something that grabbed my attention, and I would love to get better at it. The little visuals for Bezalel and Hephaestus, I did that as well. But yeah, just with anything, with practice over time, I will eventually get better at it. So this general improvement would be cool. So, what to expect from this channel? For right now, I'm just gonna do like pre-recorded things. In the foreseeable future, I would definitely love to stream, but I'm still getting some of my equipment set up. So for right now, like I said, I'll just record and then upload those things. But essentially, I'm thinking of crafting videos. Not gonna be like a tutorial per se. It's just more like, look what I did kind of videos. You know, I'm definitely not a master by any means. I'm still, not quite at an apprentice level, but I'm definitely like somewhat in the, medium adept level, if that makes sense. But yeah, kind of like that, and of course, video games. I'm all about that. So once again, I'm not the best. I'm not a pro gamer, but I just like to dabble. And I don't know, any artsy stuff that may catch my eye, catch the interest, I'll make a video out of that. So yeah, this is the gist of things. So hopefully you guys stick around and check some of that stuff out. So thank you for sticking around this long in the video. Hopefully we get to hang out more. Alrighty. Up next we have the, of course, very important artist. I believe in the Vtuber world they're called what, the mamas. In this case, the spider mama for my case. We have Miss Adrianna. She's just a very wonderful, lovely, and very talented artist. You can find her work through Adri_Oxo for Twitter and Fiverr. She has a very, very cool portfolio. As you can see here, she just has 5-star ratings all around. A lot of people come back for her, for work. And yeah, in case you need a character for, your anime, visual novel, YouTube character, VTuber avatar, she will definitely be your gal. She will hook you up. Most recently, she also started doing some VTuber rigging as well. So yeah, she's a jack of all trades, a true Bezalel, I believe. So I, for one, 100% recommend her. She's also very patient as well, so that's also very awesome to have. Of course, all these links are going to be in the description. You can also find her through her Linktree at Adri_Oxo. Spelling's a little different, but like I said, all the stuff can be found at the bottom here. So thank you again, Adrianna. Thank you, Spider Mom, for all your help. If it wasn't for you, I would not be here. So yes, everyone, please check her out. Then last but not least, we have the music peeps, the musicians. Everything that you've heard in this video has been made by Nub Nublet and Belal Malik 19. I may or may not be pronouncing those names correctly, but there's a spelling for you. You can find Nub Nublet on his YouTube page, Nub Nublet Music, and Belal Malik 19. You can find him at his Spotify. These are very awesome, just cool, talented artists. This is one of those things where their work can speak for itself. Even though they're relatively new for their platforms, they are very passionate about their work and they're just honing their craft every day. So if you want to commission their work, if you want to request their music, you can just contact them directly at Fiverr. So in case you need some sort of instrumental music, some lo-fi track, just some sort of beat to play in the background while you're chilling or while you're crafting, anything that might suit your needs, these guys are definitely your music peeps. So definitely check them out. These are one of those things where I could talk about them all day, but honestly, you just have to check out their work. Their music speaks for itself, really. So they're very talented, they're wonderful. So definitely check them out. All of these links, of course, are going to be in the description. So thank you again, Nub Nublet and Belal Malik. You guys are awesome. So thank you. Alrighty. Well, there's that. Thank you again for tuning in and for sticking around this long in the video. Hopefully you guys can join me in my future adventures and endeavors, whatever those may be. And thank you again to all the artists and musicians and all the people that helped me put this video together. You guys know who you are, and thank you. And thank you for the audience, of course, for watching. And I will see you guys the next time. Bye-bye.